Hello and welcome to another line exploration. Today we are looking at the fourth line of the 22nd gate. Gate 22, of course, is the gate of grace and the gate of openness. And this fourth line is called sensitivity. In our discussions over the last nearly a year, looking at the lines and looking at the channels, one of the things I've mentioned that Ra always used to suggest is that you looked at the channels in terms of their type, and that there are only 4 channels that are manifesting channels, and one of those is a manifesting generator, of course. So 3 pure manifestor channels, and this is one of them. This is the emotional manifesting channel, along with the 36, 35. And this is also one of the 3 social channels that we find in the body graph. So it is deeply social, it's deeply concerned about what is on the other side, it's impactive, it's going to be mutative, of course. What this means is that the moment that you get to the 4th line, it knows, in the sense of individuality, knowing, it knows its power. And they're very different because of that. They know their power because they know that they can manifest their style. They can manifest that social grace and get access to the articulation of the 12th gate to be able to speak to and interact with the other. The 4th lines are lines of friendship, the brotherhood, sisterhood. They're always going to be very concerned about the other, much more concerned about the other than the essence of what it is that they're trying to transfer to them. We have a lifetime learning here. It says the modification of behavior to enrich interactions. And this is really the only place where you find phoniness in the individual process. This is where the individual is very sensitive to its own individuality and its difference. And it has various ways of trying to mask that. Yeah, I'm different. I'm not that different. No, not really. I'm just like you. Please don't hurt me. In the exaltation, it says a mediumistic simplicity that rejects elaborate rituals, the possibility of social openness through the rejection of formality. The fixedness is, oh, how do I modify my behavior? They are very concerned about their behavior, often at the expense of getting the mutation out. They're just concerned about what their behavior should be. The moment that this 4th line sees the other, they've got to modify their style, the style that they use in the lower trigram when they didn't know that the other has to change in order for them to work successfully with the other. Oh, so this is a modification of behavior. They're really changing the way they act in order not to seem suspicious. And so recognized immediately as a potential threat, which is what would happen otherwise. In the detriment, an over-reliance on the mechanics of style that can abort potentially significant relationships. The limitation of social openness through the need for formality. This is something that's very common amongst individuals. You know, they feel that the only way that they can really meet strangers is in a formal way. If they've been invited to a party, for example, not that they have to dress up in a top hat and tails and receive a formal information, but that there has to be some kind of, like a party or a setting or a dinner or something like that. It's not so good for them just to go up and meet someone on the street. You know, something which this detriment could really do. Is not healthy for it to do. It would create a difficult situation. The whole thing about the mood process is that the moment that you recognize the nature of moods, you begin to recognize that you can identify moods of others through their tone. All of this is very acoustic. This moods, this mediumistic simplicity, that's not an easy word to say, mediumistic simplicity. It's simply about catching the vibration from the other, and knowing whether it's the right moment to create this individual process where you are going to try and bring about something that is new, where you are going to try and bring out your mutation. So we have the grounding coming through 47 in the 4th line, and it's called repression. And actually, I'm passing this one over to you because how does this line of repression support the 22-4 in its sensitivity? Should sensitivity ever be repressed? Does it serve to protect it in some way? If you have any insights on this, I would be very interested to read them. Venus moved into gate 17 this morning at just about 5 to 1 this morning, GMT. This Ajna gate of opinions where Mercury is already sitting, so we've heard about that already. The moon has been in gate 31 since 2:42 this morning, the throat gate of the logic circuit, which says I lead, I influence. It moves to its mirror gate, the gate 33, at 13:13. This is the voice that says, I remember, and it's one of the stop codons that we have. It is the end of the experiential cycle as the experiences are stored and they're squirreled away and they're reflected upon in privacy before being shared. And then the moon moves back to the other side, to gate 7, back to the logic side and to the G center. And this is at 23:50. This is the gate of the army, the role gate of the self in interaction. As a role gate, we have the keynotes here that can describe various ways in which we are designed to interact with others, sometimes in leadership roles and sometimes in life, just generally. But this is a leadership channel. We have the authoritarian, the democrat, the anarchist, and the abdicator. And we have the general and the administrator. All of these names that you will have heard used as we go through the lines, because, you know, the first line, administrator, no, the sixth line is the administrator. We use that as a keynote for all 6 lines. The authoritarian that comes through the first line because they want to be an authority. That's part of why they are the investigator, digging into the foundation so that they can then bring out that authoritarian nature. So we find that through these lines in gate 7. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me for the 4th line here in gate 22. I will be back tomorrow, of course, for the 5th line. And until then, take care and go gently.